Hello my dear friends, welcome back to another MS SQL class tutorial. Now if in the previous class we had created this database named as class 1 and we had created a table under that class 1 database. So a database is again a collection or storage of multiple tables or even a single table. Now we had already created a table that was named as table 1. In this class, we are going to create another table under the same database, that is class 1. So no need to recreate it because the class 1 database is already there. If you go to the left hand side under the Object Explorer and expand the databases, then your name of this database that we had created will come, class 1 database. It has come here, okay. So in order to use it, that is, in order to use this database class 1, you need to select it first and execute. So this database is now ready to use and we can create multiple tables under the same database. So here already I have prepared this code for creating a new table named as create table. You have to give this command, or you can say give this instruction to the MS SQL that create table, and then you have to write the table name. I have given here the table name as employee. So create table employee. So an employee table will be created, and then in the next line you have to give you have to specify the fields or the columns that will be there inside this table, and what kind of data they are going to also store, that also you have to specify. All right, so in the first column or in the first field I have given the name of it as EID. Say I'm going to create a table which is going to consist a lot of information about lots of employees. Say for example employee ID. So EID stands as the employee ID. EID will basically reflect the employee IDs of employees in an organization. So any name you can give. So this will be the first column of the first field, and then you have to mention the data type of data which will be stored under this column. Which type of data type is this column going to be? So what kind of data you're going to store under this column? So I've given it as char. So char means fixed data type length. When the data type length is fixed and known to me, like under this EID column, you will have say employee IDs of several employees of an organization, say E1001, then E1002, E1003. So the data type length here is known and fixed. Okay. So in such a scenario, we use char. I have given here that the maximum number of characters that can be stored in each row under this EID column will be 6. All right. Then in the next field, or for the next column, you have to specify the name of it. I have given it as name, NAM with 2 E's. This is just for distinguishing between this name of this table and the name of the previous table. You can give whatever name you like. You can give like name 1, name 2, name EE, name EEE, whatever you like. Just it's a name of the field or the column that I'm giving here. And then you have to specify the data type of this field or this column, which I'm giving as varchar, and the maximum number of characters that can be stored in each row under this column or this field will be 40, not beyond that. Varchar stands for variable character. That is, since name can be small, it can be medium, it can be big. So here the data type length is not fixed, rather it is variable. All right, like some names can be 5 characters, some can be say 25, some can be 40, some can be say 10. So the data type length here is variable. That's why I'm using here varchar data type for this particular field. Then the third field of the column that I am defining here is ADDR1, that is address 1 column. That is to which address a particular employee belongs to. For that, it will store the addresses of various employees, and the addresses can also be small, medium, big. That is, some addresses may be of 5 characters, some may be of 15 characters, some may be of 40 characters. So in such a scenario, when the data type length is variable, then the data type we use to define a particular column is varchar, variable character. And here also the maximum limit is 40. And here there is the second line of address, and that is ADDR2. So ADDR1 plus ADDR2 will give the total address. So ADDR2 is also have kept it as same varchar 40. Same for this city. This will be the next column of the field. These commas you have to always give special attention to. These acts as limiters. So after address 1, you have to give comma and then move to the or define the next column or the field, which is address 2. And after that, give comma so that you can define or specify the next field or column, which here I have taken as city, to which city a particular employee belongs to. And here also the city names can be of this can be of variable data type length. Some can be of small number of characters, some can be big, some can be medium. So the data type length is variable. That's why varchar 40 here I have given. If instead of 40, if you want to try on your own, you can give it as 60, 70, 80, whatever you like. Then give this comma, and then you have to define the next field or column, and that you can name as phone, and specify the data type here also, which I have kept as varchar 40. And after that, then again give comma and mention the next column. There is define the next column or field, which I have used as email, the email IDs of employees, and that can be also of variable data type length. Some email IDs can be small, some can be medium, some can be big. So in such a scenario, when the data type length is variable, you can use the data type as varchar and then give the size of it, maximum limit, which I've given here as 40. Then the date of birth, DOB, for each employee. This field or column I have defined, and the data type date we have given. This we had covered in the previous class. And then the final column or the final field I am defining as DOJ, date of joining of an employee into an organization, and that also have specified the date form, that is the data type as the date format. It is in the date format. This also I have defined, and already this table I have created. That's why I'm no longer going to run it, because this table under this database already exists. Simply you have to select these two lines, that is from create table up to line number 4, and then go to the execute button and hit the execute button. All right, here. And then in order to insert values into this table, what do we do? Go to line number 7 here and give this command insert into, and then you have to specify the table name, that is in which table you are going to enter your values, and accordingly you have to give the values here. Insert into employee, then here values, and then in the first parenthesis or inside the first bracket, you have to accordingly give the values. That is, for example, E1001, it stands for the EID. This will be this first parenthesis, this first single brackets that you are seeing here consist of the values, and these values will be there in the first row, and accordingly under each column, like E1001 under EID column for an employee. Ramesh Gupta is the name of the employee. These are the dummy EIDs, dummy names, and dummy addresses, dummy city names. Like randomly I've allocated city names to these employees. So this is like a dummy database randomly I have created just for the explanation purpose. So Ramesh Gupta is the name of an employee. For example, say I've taken randomly here the name, and then the delimiters you have to give like comma. So this is for the first column and this is for the second column, and then give comma, and you move to the value, you move to specify the value for the third column, like sector 71 for example. This will fall under the ADDR1. This will be the address 1 line for Ramesh Gupta. Then give comma, and you will be able to give the value for the next field or column. That is, I have kept it here as banner, just randomly I have given these values. Okay, this will fall under address 2 column, and then after comma you have to give Pune, that will fall under the city column. Then randomly I have created this phone number. This is a dummy phone number, so, and intentionally I have kept it so that it does not match with anyone like that. Okay, so this is like a dummy number I have created here inside this database just for explanation purpose, and this will fall under the phone column. And then after that, again a dummy email ID I have created, and that will fall under the email column. And then this part falls 1991-0101, it will fall under the DOB column, and this value will fall under the DOJ column. This will be the date of joining, and this will be the date of birth. Then after the parenthesis is closed, you have to give comma so that you can move to the next row, and here in the next row you have to enter the values for the next employee. So second row means for the second employee. Then again give comma and give the values for the third row. So these records will be of the third employee. which will be there inside the table in the third row. Then you have to give comma, and you have to move to the next row, that is the fourth row. Here also you have to give the values for all these columns, and this will be in the fourth row. Give comma, and then in the fifth row you have to specify these values for the fifth employee, and parenthesis closed. All right, and from line number 7 to 12 we have to select this entire thing and go to the execute button and execute it. So the values will be inserted inside your column, inside your table. Now in order to see it, select asterisk from employee. Asterisk from employee means all the fields or columns from this particular table employee will be shown. So you see EID, this is the name, this is for address 1, address 2, city, phone, email, DOB, DOJ. Okay, now I have created this random table consisting of this random field values so as to explain you something about known as pattern matching. Pattern matching. Okay, now if you have to do pattern matching, for that comes a very important clause that is known as like clause. Pattern matching means when you have to find out certain names or find out certain values of fields, and you don't know all the characters. It's not possible. So like for a huge table, if there are say 10,000 rows, and you need to you need to find out some particular values out of those rows. Okay, so it's not possible to remember, or it's not possible to identify out all the characters of all the values of all the rows. So for that we can use some characters or some parts of values, and then basically apply pattern matching method on them and filter out those particular values. So we'll just understand this entire thing in a little bit of time. So you have to use like clause. For example, like clause, it operates with wildcard characters. All right, whenever you have to do pattern matching, you have to use the like clause, and that like clause has to be used in conjunction with wildcard characters. So what are these wildcard characters? Normally underscore, percentage, square brackets, and the square brackets you have inside this, you have this caret sign. Say for example, I want to find out all the employee names or all the employees. I want to find out all the employees whose names begin with the letter A. I want to find out all the employees of an organization, that is from this table. I want to find out all the employees, but only those employees whose names begin with A. And after A, there can be absolutely anything, but they should start with A. So for this, select asterisk from employee, so where name like A percentage. So what's happening here? Select asterisk from employee, it will display out all the fields or all the columns, and on a condition, based on a condition. What is now wherever? So for that we use this keyword where. So wherever name column, so here you have the name column, wherever the name column like, then inside single inverted commas you have to give capital A or small a, because SQL is not case sensitive. Uppercase, lowercase doesn't matter here. Okay, like say for any name you give capital XYZ, and here you can give small xyz. It will treat both as the same. So single inverted commas, inside this you have to give the letter A, and after that you have to give this wildcard character, which is percentage. So this will basically instruct the MS SQL that it will find all the, it will filter out all the name values under this name column which begin with the letter A. This has to be there, and after A there can be absolutely anything, doesn't matter, but the first letter should be A. The first letter of what? The first letter of all the name values under the name column, and then accordingly all of their respective fields or records, that is all of the fields or columns will be shown, but of only those selected employees whose names start with A. So let us do this. Execute. See, out of all the 5 employees, only Amesh Gupta is the one whose name starts with A. And after A, there can be anything. That's why I've given this wildcard character percentage. But the name should start with A. So out of all those 5 employees, only Amesh Gupta was chosen as his name starts with A. And as because I've given here asterisk, so all these fields related to Mr. Amesh Gupta have been displayed out here. His EID, his address 1, his address 2, his city, his phone number, his email, his date of birth, his date of joining. Same way we can go like here also, only instead of A I am giving here R. So that means it will select asterisk from employee will ensure that all the fields or all the columns of employees will be shown, but based on a condition where that means wherever the name that it will go to the name column. So that means the name values are like then R percentage inside the single inverted comma. That means the first letter, all the name values under this name column, their first letter should be R. So the name values under the name column, they should start with R, and after R there can be absolutely anything, doesn't matter, but the name values under the name column, they should start with R, and then all of their fields or columns will be displayed of the respective employees. So select it and execute. You see there are two employees whose names start with R. One is Ramesh Gupta, another one is Ram Kumar, and their corresponding all the fields or all the columns are basically shown for these two employees. All right, now let us see another thing. Now say you have a criteria that you have to find out. You have to find out only those employees. You have to find out only those employees whose names can begin with absolutely anything but should end with Gupta, Gupta. Okay, so this can be, you can say, the surname or the last name of employees. All right, so only those employees will be selected whose surnames or whose last names are Gupta. That means only those employees should be selected whose name values under the name column should end with Gupta. Before Gupta there can be absolutely anything, doesn't matter, but the name values should end with Gupta under the name column for this employee table. So select it and execute. You see there are only two Guptas. There are only two employees out of these 5 employees whose name values end with Gupta. That is, their surnames or their last names are Gupta. One is Ramesh Gupta, another one is Amesh Gupta, and correspondingly all of their for both of them all the fields or all the columns are displayed out because of this asterisk. Asterisk means last time I have in the last class also I told you it will display out all the fields or columns of a table from a database. All right, so here the employees whose last names are Gupta, that is whose name values end with Gupta, only their records are displayed out here. Now we have seen at the beginning, we have seen at the end. Now what about the middle criteria? That is, I want to pick out some characters from the middle, and based on those I want to display out some records of some employees. Say for example, I just, let me see the entire table at first. Here if you see at the under the email column, this is the email column. Here the email ID domains, somewhere you have XYZ, somewhere you have ABC, somewhere you have RTXY, somewhere you have again XYZ, somewhere you have ABC. These are the domain names I have selected randomly, just arbitrarily, just for explanation purpose. So I want the records to be displayed of only those employees whose email IDs, domain names is or are XYZ. Again, I want to select out or display out the records of only those employees whose email ID domain names consist of XYZ. You can have xyz.co.in, you can have xyz.com, but in the middle you should have XYZ. Okay, in the middle select asterisk from employee where email is like, then you have to give this criteria inside the single invert comma, that is percentage at the first, then percentage at the end. In between these two wildcard characters, that is in between these two percentages, you have to give XYZ. So this will mean that this particular my employees records, they will be searched out, but on the basis of what? Now at the beginning there can be absolutely anything, at the end also there can be absolutely anything, but inside the middle you should have XYZ in continuity. Okay, so if you see rk@xyz.co.in, here xyz you have in the middle in continuity. Then here also you have rm@xyz.com, where you have xyz in the middle and in continuity. So if you select line, and nowhere else you have xyz in the middle, nowhere else you have xyz in the middle. Here you have abc, here you have rtxy, here you have abc again. So this particular employee Ramesh Gupta and this particular employee Ram Kumar, these two employees will be selected and their records should be displayed out. Select, execute, and see Ramesh Gupta and Ram Kumar. See here his domain, his email id, his domain name is xyz, and his email id's domain name is also xyz. This ends with say .co.in and this ends with .com, but I want only those employees records to be displayed whose email IDs have this xyz domain. Okay, then again if I want to see the table, here you see now I want only those employees records to be displayed whose names start with R or with P. If there are some employees whose names start with R, their records should be displayed, and if there are some employees whose names start with P, then their records should also be displayed, but only for R and P. Then in such a condition, everything is same. Select asterisk from employee, where only the column name has to be, must be changed. Like here, the column name had to be email because I want to search out for the email IDs. Okay, that's why I changed the column name from name to email. Now I'm back to the name column again because now I want to see the records of only those employees whose names start with R or P. In such a condition, you have to use this square bracket. You have to give this square bracket. Inside this, you have to write RP, and after the square bracket ends, you have to give %, and everything inside the single inverted comma. And here, because my search has to be restricted to the name column, that's why I specify the name of the column where you want to make the search happen, which is this name column, NAMEE. So select these two lines, execute, and you see here Ramesh Gupta, it starts with R, fine. Ram Kumar starts with R, fine. Piyush Rana starts with P, fine. And all the other records, their name values, they do not start with R or P. Okay, like for example, Amesh Gupta doesn't start with R or P. Joy doesn't start with R or P. And if I want to do the opposite of it, then go to line number 31, 32. Here everything is same. Select asterisk from employee, where name like, then inside the square brackets you are specifying caret sign. This is the caret sign. After that you are basically specifying RP, and then the square bracket ends, and here you're giving this wildcard character %. So this will mean that only those employees records should be displayed whose names can start with absolutely anything but not with R or not with P. So that means Amesh starts with A, that is fine, does not start with R or does not start with P. For Joydas also, this name value does not start with R or does not start with P. Only these two records, only these two employees and their corresponding records should be displayed. Ramesh Gupta should not be displayed, that is his entire record should not be displayed. For Ram Kumar, his entire record should not be displayed. For Piyush Rana also, his entire record should not be displayed. Only Amesh Gupta and Joy Das, their record should be displayed. Execute, see. Why? Because here I've given this condition that search out the employee names, where the names can start with absolutely anything but not with R or not with P. Okay, and then you have to give them inside this square bracket wildcard characters and end with %. End with % means after the names have begun with anything apart from R and P, then there can be absolutely anything. Like in case of Amesh Gupta, after A there can be absolutely anything. After this first A, there can be absolutely anything. In case of Joy Das also, the first letter is J, and after that there can be anything. So this so this was for finding out multiple records. Then again here also you can use this code to find out multiple records, but it works in a particular range. Okay, RP is not a range, but here I want to find out the records of employees in a particular range. So same thing, select asterisk from employee. All the fields or all the columns of employees will be displayed out, but based on a condition, which is that where. So that means wherever name, there is, it will go to the name column and will search out for the name values. Alike, then single invert commas. Inside this you have to give this square bracket, and I have given it here in the range of A to J, and after that I have given here percentage after the square brackets have ended. So that means I am focusing on the first letter character. The first letter character should start from A, and it can be B also. From A to J it should fall. Okay, the first letter character of the employee names should consist of either A or B or C or D or E or G or F or G or H or I or J. So it will search out in a range. So if the first letter character of a particular employee falls in this range between A to J, and then from the second letter character there can be absolutely anything due to this percentage, doesn't matter, but the first letter character of a particular employee should be in this range A to J. If the employee name starts with A, that is fine. If the employee name starts with B, that is fine. If the employee name starts with C, that is fine. If the employee name starts with D, that is fine, dot 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 up to J. If the employee name starts with J, then that is also fine. But after J, whatever letters you have, if those letters are one of those are, like for example Y, if say Y is the first letter character of the name of a particular employee, then that person or that employee won't be considered here. That particular person's record won't be selected out here. So the name value of a particular employee, in that scenario, what I am explaining here, that the first letter character of a name should start between this range A to J, and the second letter, from second letter character up to the end, you can have absolutely anything thanks to this percentage, but the first letter character of an employee name should lie in this range A to J. So select and execute, and you see Amesh Gupta and Joy Das are chosen. That is, these two persons records are chosen and are displayed out. So if you select asterisk from employee, you see after J you have R. Okay, after J you have R again, after J you have P again. So these three records are not considered here. And then if you move to this particular line of code, select asterisk from employee, where name like, then inside the single invert commas, underscore A and underscore and E. So what it will do is that basically only those name values of employees, only those name values will be considered who have A in their second character and E as their fourth character. All right, only those employee names will be considered here, and their corresponding records will be displayed out inside whose names you have A as the second character and E as the fourth character. The first character can be absolutely anything, the third character can be absolutely anything, but the second character should be A, fourth character should be E. And after fourth character, that is after E, after the fourth character I have given percentage, means from fifth character up to till the end of a name value there can be absolutely any character. It can be F, G, A, B, C, D, doesn't matter. But if you have to move like this, that the name of a particular employee should have A as the second character and E as the fourth character, then in such a scenario you have to give it like this, where this first underscore will serve as a bypass, and that means here the first letter character can be absolutely anything, doesn't matter, but the second letter character has to be A. The third letter character here will be bypassed thanks to this underscore, it can be anything, doesn't matter, but the fourth letter character should be E. And then from fifth letter character up to till the end of a name value there can be absolutely anything, that's why percentage. Okay, so select, and here we go. Here you see out of all those employees, only these two employees have been selected based on their name values. stored under the name column, and because of this asterisk all their fields or columns have been displayed out. So for Ramesh Gupta, if you see, A is here in the A is the second letter character here, and this E is the fourth letter character here. In case of Ramesh Gupta, the first letter character is R, the second letter character is A, the third letter character is M, fourth letter character is E. So this criteria is fulfilled in case of Ramesh Gupta, because here as the name starts, in the second index you have A, and in the fourth index you have E. Same goes for Amesh Gupta also. Here in case of Amesh Gupta, the second index should be A, which is satisfied here, and the fourth index should be E, that is also satisfied here, and that's why these two employees and the records have been completely displayed out here. And then comes another clause known as top clause. Suppose I want to see the top 3 employees from my particular table. So what to do? Asterisk again means all the fields or all the columns will be displayed, but of only those employees who fall in this range, top 3. So select, what you have to give again, select top, then 3, and here you can give asterisk from employee. You can give a space also here, doesn't matter, and select and execute. So the first three are displayed out here. The first 3 employees alongside with their records are all displayed out here. Who are the first 3? E1001, E1002, E1003. All right. So Ramesh, Amesh and Joy. Ramesh, Amesh and Joy. That is E1001, E1002, E1003. Similarly, if you want to see the top 4 employees, from your table, then basically select top 4 asterisk from employee and the top 4, that is this first row, this second row, this third row and this fourth row. They will be all displayed out here. You can have say if this table imaginarily had 10 rows, then out of these 10 rows, these first 4 rows would have been displayed, like this first row, this second row, this third row and this fourth row would have been displayed out here, and the rest of the rows wouldn't have been displayed out here. Why? Because I am stating here select top 4 asterisks from employee. Okay, so hopefully you have enjoyed this session. We shall again meet in the next video class of ours. So thank you.